Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. No need for the applause. So this is Seventh Period Podcast. I'm your host with the most. I go by the name of Ghost. And my co-host, as always, is Mr. Sanders.
Yo,
Get a new nickname alert again.
what's up?
The Black Caesar.
That works.
Like that one better than the Black Escobar?
Yeah, that's definitely better than the other one. Yeah, that works.
All right. I'll start going with that one until I come up with a new one. which might be better, might not be. But okay, getting to business. So the topic we're gonna be discussing today is a very, very good movie, I have to say. Dead Presidents. Give a round of applause for Dead Presidents. Dead Presidents. Great movie.
Yeah, very solid movie. Underrated movie.
Yeah, like a lot of people don't know about this movie, I feel.
Yeah, first time I watched it was with you.
First time I watched it was with somebody I used to hang out with.
Yeah.
Yeah, they kind of like told me about it because they mentioned it was like Chris Tucker or whatever. Chris Tucker was in it. I was like, what are you talking about? Like, I've never heard of this movie.
Yeah.
So I looked it up, saw it online. I was like, well, it's only like $5, so I'm going to go ahead and get it.
Yeah.
But this is a movie that came out in 1995. It was co-written and produced and directed by the Hughes brothers. And in case you didn't know who the Hughes brothers were, they directed very big movies that like Menace to Society and The Book of Eli with Denzel Washington in it.
I didn't know they did that one.
Yeah, they did. I looked that up and I saw that. I was like, oh crap.
Yeah.
I was like, damn. But this movie stars Lorenz Tate, Keith David, which is one of the most iconic voices. In case y'all didn't know, he was in ATL. He played the the father of Nunu.
Yeah, what they call him, Big Daddy Kane in the movie.
He kind of is like an older version of him in a way.
Yeah.
Also in this movie, I said Lorenz Tate, didn't I?
Yeah.
Okay. Which Lorenz Tate, Councilman Tate from Power.
Yeah.
Which he's getting his own spinoff for Power, right?
Oh, really? I haven't watched Power, so I didn't know that.
Yeah, like pretty much like every character that survives is getting their own spinoff from that.
That's interesting.
Then of course Chris Tucker, one of his first roles, because I think he pretty much did this like right after Friday or something like that.
Yeah, because they came out the same year.
Yeah. I just never realized that. And I'm gonna butcher this girl's name. The something right. The chick from Bushi, right?
Yeah,
Nabushi. She was in Blade. In case y'all didn't know, she played the main female in Blade, not Sanaa Lathan. But would you kind of consider her love interest in that movie?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, as soon as he came back home, he was even before that, he always liked
Well, I'm
it.
talking about when she was in Blade.
Oh, she was in Blade. Oh, I haven't seen Blade.
What?
Yeah, I haven't seen Blade. I know.
Oh man, that's.
I have to go watch it after this.
You definitely need to.
Yeah.
Then of course you have your boy, Mr. Terrence Howard, man. A young Terrence Howard in this movie.
I'm starting to think that he's like his character because he always plays the same type of character all the time.
He was pretty funny in this one, though.
Yeah, definitely.
Come on, man. Like, yeah, that is. He just needs to come out with like a clothing line called Maine.
Yeah.
Or he needs to trademark that or something.
Yeah, it's like is he even from the South? Because that's how Memphis dudes talk. I always saying Maine after everything.
I don't think he is. Like, I feel like he's not.
Oh.
And then of course, you got Clifton Powell, which he's in every single black movie possible. I don't think there's been a black movie I ain't seen him in.
Yeah, I mean, is it even a black movie if he's not in it?
I don't think so. I really don't think so. Because I mean, he's been in pretty much every single one. Hell, he snuck his way into Ray.
Yeah, and he steals the show in every scene that he's in.
Yeah, he does a really good job. Like,
Yeah,
he is a good actor. Don't get me wrong. He definitely makes his check.
And he didn't even start acting till like his late 30s. I think he said he was like 37 or 38 when he started.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. Dang, he must be pretty old now.
Yeah, I think he's like in his 60s now.
And then we also have book him. This man, he kind of sneaks around low key in some movies.
Yeah.
But I mean, he does a good job in all his movies. So I mean, this movie basically it's basically about a high school guy he's graduating. Takes place during the Vietnam War, and he's basically just trying to figure out, I guess, what he wants to do in his life, and he decides to go to the army.
Yeah.
I mean, probably not the choice I would do.
Yeah, definitely not the choice I would do either. You know, honestly, I'll be honest with you. I knew not to go to the army by watching, this movie and then Boys in the Hood. You remember that scene?
Oh yeah, yeah. That definitely wasn't a good idea. I mean, I wouldn't go to the army during, especially the Vietnam War, man.
Yeah.
But you know, it definitely. I think it does a really good job, like kind of depicting, like the time during then.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it was. I mean, pretty funny time. I mean, there was a funny movie time, like funny time. I mean,
yeah.
but like, I mean, that movie, I thought they did a good job in it, like kind of making you feel like you were living in that time. Oh yeah, on a side note, Sticky Fingers was in that movie.
Where was he at in the movie?
He was only in it for like 5 minutes. Remember when like the very first battle, when they're running through the woods trying to get like to that area. He was.
Yeah. Sticky Fingers.
Yeah, he was the one that was dying. Like I was just like, man, he died pretty quick.
Yeah, he was in there. Yeah, but he always sneaks his way in a movie too.
Yeah, he definitely does. But I mean, he's a good actor though.
Yeah,
like him and
Fredro.
Yeah, Fredro from
Fredro.
from Onyx. Even though he almost whooped Charlemagne. Even though Charlemagne didn't really say anything bad.
Yeah, he just said what he said basically. He just didn't like that he said it.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean it was definitely a good movie. Like you know, they show him definitely. It was nice seeing like them showing the battle side too, like them actually being in Vietnam and actually showing like a pretty lengthy part of them being in Vietnam.
Yeah, just showing, and also I liked how they showed the after effects of being at war. You know, because a lot of those guys suffer from PTSD.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I think Chris Tucker did a pretty good job acting.
Oh yeah, he did a really good job.
You know, showing them basically how some of those soldiers were like being that when they got hooked on drugs over there, and basically showing how they were acting when they got back.
Yeah, they were strung out, man. They didn't know what to do.
So yeah, basically during that movie, like they're over there in Vietnam and they go through the war and everything, and then he comes back to America, which I mean, I'm sure that's a big transition.
Yeah, he was over there for 4 years.
Yeah, and
didn't even write his family, didn't talk to his family, nothing.
Yeah, because he was just like sitting there, like, you know, that shit don't exist to me.
Yeah,
like, which I mean, I can kind of understand that because it's like, hey, you're over there, you need to focus on just what's over there.
Yeah,
ain't no point in riding people back if you ain't gonna come back.
Exactly.
But so yeah, he goes over there, spends 4 years over there, then comes back. And basically has to readjust to life.
Yeah. And it was real difficult for him because, you know, he couldn't find a job and, you know, it's just crazy how, you know, you can go over and fight the war for the country and then when you come back the country don't do nothing for you.
Yeah, basically just shitting on you.
Yeah.
to put it in better words.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, especially in a war like that, like, exactly. Man.
We lost that war, didn't we?
Yeah, I don't know if we for real consider it a loss because we kind of like I guess just was like, look, we just need to go ahead and pull out people. Like, I don't know if we for real consider it a loss. Like, because it were really, I mean, I don't know. It was a war we really weren't like. I don't know. It's hard to tell with that one.
Yeah.
I guess you could consider it a loss, but yeah. So I mean, he gets over here. He basically has to figure out life again. He comes back to his love interest, which we didn't mention. He had a kid that he found out about while he was over there. Mm-hmm. That makes it even crazy. Like, just imagine being over there in that war, and then all of a sudden you find out, like, the girl you left behind has a kid.
Yeah, and you got to try to build a relationship with that kid that doesn't even know you. at all.
Oh yeah, doesn't even probably know you exist really.
Yeah.
Like probably just knows like, yeah, I have a father, but man, like you like until you because as a kid definitely you don't believe it until you see it.
Yeah.
Like, I mean that would just be crazy to think about.
Definitely.
But I mean he comes back, basically finds his girl, sees his daughter. Just sees how everything's changed, even though Terrence Howard didn't change in the movie when he came back.
He was more of an asshole.
Yeah, he was still pissed off. But it was trippy. Just I can only imagine like being gone from somewhere so long, because even like moving away from here for a little bit and then coming back was just like, wow, this is different.
Yeah, some people change for the worse. Some people change for the better, and then some people you just don't really have that same connection with no more. You know what I mean? Like with Lorenz Tate and his baby mama, like they just wasn't vibing no more. You know?
Because it was just kind of funny, like the sister kind of wanted him on. It's like, but I can't be doing that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it is pretty much a trip like that. It's like, it's just it would be crazy to get over that mentality of like being over in Vietnam during that war.
I had my uncle. Well, he's not my uncle, but he's real close with my dad, and he was telling me about his dad, and his dad fought in the Vietnam War. He just said that after when he came back, he just wasn't really the same anymore. He was just more quiet, more withdrawn, and like you couldn't. Like, you damn sure couldn't walk up behind him, try to hug him or touch him or something like that, because he'll go crazy, you know what I'm saying? Because his mind just wasn't the same anymore,
Oh, I can imagine. And one of my history teacher in high school, he was in Vietnam, and he saw a whole bunch of crazy stuff. Like when he was over there, like he said, I think he was telling us one time that he's like saw somebody fall like 100 feet from a helicopter and survive.
Wow.
That's the crazy thing about it.
Wow, man.
Like, survive. But he was pretty fine. I mean, he said he would have like dreams and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like pretty wild dreams. But from what I know, from what I saw, I mean, he might have been another way in private, but which I'm pretty sure this teacher, he probably had a gun somewhere in his classroom.
Oh, definitely. Definitely.
Like, because he was a great teacher. I really liked him, but I'm pretty sure that guy, he kept it on deck. He stayed strapped in the club. Let's just say that.
Always strapped.
But yeah, I mean, but get back to the Dead Presidents with Lorenz Tate having to readjust to being over here. You just see all the craziness, and then he goes back to his old hangout spot, which
one of the most satisfying ass whoopings in film history.
Oh yeah, we definitely give a round of applause for Lorenz Tate whooping Terrence Howard's ass in that movie. Because man, he definitely did that. And I was just like, wow, like it was just unbelievable how much he whooped his ass.
And it also shows too that a lot of times guys figure out how loyal their woman is when they go overseas like that, because his baby mom was messing around with another dude, and Cuddy, Clifton Powell's character, and he was questioning if that was his kid or not, because he was still coming around.
Well, it was because she got pregnant like while he was back.
Yeah.
And he started questioning that one.
Yeah.
Oh,
because,
okay. It was because the first one he knew that was his.
Yeah.
But he started questioning the first one or the second one.
The second one. Yeah.
Because she was like, well, I mean, you're not even sleeping with me, like.
Yeah.
And I don't know, he asked her about it, and I don't know if she was just saying, yeah, this is his kid, just to.
I mean, let's be honest. Like, women do stuff like that. Some do, not all.
Yeah, not all of them, but yeah, some do.
Yeah.
But I mean, it was definitely a trip, like, and then it was just wild. Like I can only imagine like how he like just coming back from that. That would just be crazy.
Yeah. Just coming back to that and just coming back from that to nothing. Like everybody just kind of just, I mean, yeah, you may get your little high fives and stuff, and people, like and maybe giving you positivity and stuff. But as far as like getting a job and trying to get your life back on track, like nobody really cares about that. You know what I mean?
No, not at all.
And and back then too, he probably would have did really well if he had went to therapy, but that was in the 60s and 70s.
Oh yeah, they didn't know what kind of effects people were gonna have come back from there.
Yeah.
And then so yeah, he basically breaks up with her, and then he starts when he's I guess going around trying to get work because he gets fired from the job he gets on the way back, because he does get a job, but it's only like a little small time butcher store.
Yeah.
But that he basically gets fired from that job because the old dude has to close the shop down.
Yeah. And that made his drinking just a little bit, made his drinking go even more crazier, and he was just more erratic because he wasn't able to provide for his family, and and then it doesn't make any better that Cuddy was antagonizing him, giving him money and stuff, even knowing that he was smashing his girl while he was gone, just playing with him, like just saying like don't bite the hand that feeds you and stuff like that.
Yeah, because that was so messed up when like the one part where Cuddy like knocks him down the stairs, and holds a gun up to his face.
I'm just like, yo, like didn't nobody come outside and check to see what was going on?
Yeah, like nobody
just saying, suck it. Yeah, he put the pistol to his mouth.
Clifton Powell, when he does some little lines, when he does some like pissed off lines.
Yeah.
Hey, they are classics.
Definitely, man.
Like probably some of the funniest ones. Especially because I mean, if people don't know Clifton Powell, he's the guy that played Pinky on Next Friday. One of to me, probably one of the most iconic character from Next Friday.
Definitely was.
Like
man.
From that movie at least.
Yeah.
But he I mean, he had Lorenz Tate's character had to deal with that in the movie.
Yeah.
Having to basically play nice with that guy.
Yeah, because he had to. I mean, he was in a rock and a hard place at that time. There wasn't no money coming in, but he was giving him money. But it's just messed up because he was still interested in his girl. It's just a bad situation. So he went to dire things to get some money.
Yeah. So then they ended up breaking up. And then, so he goes and runs into he goes to a rally, was it a Black Panther rally?
Yeah, Black Panther rally.
That ends up what's her name? I always forget how you, in Bush?
In Bushy, I think that's
okay.
Well, I don't know. We probably butchered it.
Yeah, we probably butchered her name. Shout out to butchering names out here. But she's actually the ones holding the rally. And after that rally, they started just having a conversation, and Lorenz Tate's character basically was like, "Hey, I've got an idea how to get some money." And basically, Lorenz Tate gets all his crew together with Keith David, Chris Tucker,
Bokeem.
Yeah, Bokeem. Yeah, which his character, it was crazy, like, to see the transition of his character.
Yeah.
Because, like, we didn't mention it, like, when he was one of the people in not Iraq, but Vietnam.
Yeah.
And he was just a nut job over there. Like,
cut a dude's head off, man, and took it as a souvenir.
Saying that was a good luck charm.
Yeah.
Like, man. Like, he was just like, we ain't got a single splinter in us since I cut this head off. I was like, what? like, I don't think you need somebody else's head, to be a good luck charm.
Yeah.
Like, you couldn't like get a rabbit's tail, like a rabbit's foot or something, like.
And also the transition with Chris Tucker's character too. He was scared, and when he was over in war, but then when he came back, he was wild.
Well, when he first saw him when he came back, he was like, oh, kind of strung out.
Yeah. And I think that they kind of alluded to him having either HIV or AIDS or something like that.
I don't know, cause when was like really the first case of like HIV and AIDS really coming out? Cause I don't think.
Cause you remember like in the scene when like the graduation night they were like sitting and talking and I think one of the dudes was like, you need to protect yourself, and he was just like, fuck it, I live by the pussy, I'm gonna die by the pussy.
Hey, Chris Tucker, he definitely gave one of his best performances in that movie.
Yeah, for real.
Cause he was funny as hell. Cause that man, what was that one part? He was like, yeah, me and Irene or whatever his girl's name was, we were in the bed having sex, and her mama walked in, she saw my dick and jumped in the bed too.
Yeah, that man was a fool with it back
then. Yeah, he was killing me in that movie. Yeah. I was just like, man, like he was hilarious. But getting back to the story. So basically, they got their whole team together and they're setting up that robbery.
Mm-hmm.
And they basically go to that bank. They put out their spot. Getting their spots and everything. And after they get in their spots, they start doing the robbery, and the robbery just goes terrible from start.
Yeah, you see the change, like with Bokeem's character, he was more like scared.
Oh yeah.
Chris Tucker's character was more the aggressor. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because Chris Tucker went and shot that cop.
Yeah, shot him in the head and then shot him some more times. That was exactly what Bokeem was doing in Vietnam.
Yeah,
it was just crazy just to see the change and transition in their characters.
Yeah, it was just like, man.
Yeah.
But so the robbery just goes wrong from jump.
Yeah.
Like, they they pretty much blew up all the money almost because they used way too much like
C4.
Yeah. So what's it in Bush Wright or Miss Wright? That's what we're gonna call it.
Miss Wright. Yeah.
She gets killed.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just like, man.
Yeah. And they killed probably like 3-4 people that day, and then they end up being on the run, and one by one everybody just gets knocked off.
Well, the one dude, he gets killed like during the robbery, after they get the money from the robbery.
He did. Which one?
Yeah, the little Puerto Rican guy.
Oh yeah, he did.
Because he went out bad.
Yeah.
Like he got ran over by that car.
Oh yeah.
Man, that was pretty messed up. And he had a family too. That was made it even worse.
Yeah.
I was like, oh wow. But hey, when you do bad stuff, sometimes bad stuff comes back to you.
No, I ain't no sometimes.
Well, yeah,
come back to you.
that's true. So yeah, then they had to start splitting up the money, and they probably would have got away with it if old boy wouldn't have started the Bokeem's character wouldn't have started
flex.
Yeah, he was flexing way too hard, giving people $100 bills from what they were saying, like all sorts of stuff.
Did we even speak on the fact that he became a preacher?
No, yeah,
he became a preacher after that, and was trying to get his life back together, but then
it's kind of funny because they did say like when they were in Vietnam, like I remember Chris Tucker mentioned like his character, like the guy like Bokeem's dad was like a pastor, because they were like, how can this dude be like this when his dad's a pastor back home?
Yeah.
But yeah, so he's giving out people $100 bills at his sermon, bought him a brand new whip.
Yeah.
Which I'm pretty sure when you do a robbery, you don't go out and start spending the money right away.
No.
Like I would have if I did a robbery, I think I'd at least wait a cold year before I bought anything. I'm making it look like I'm even more broke than I am before I did the robbery.
Yeah.
Shoot, I might wear the same drawers for 3 weeks.
Hey, Freeway Ricky Ross did that.
That's how he was slipped under the radar so long.
Yeah.
Because most drug dealers, they
as soon as they get some money, they ready to show off. They ready to do the little money phones online and shit.
Yeah, they get busted pretty easily nowadays.
Yeah.
Yeah. But so, the robbery goes wrong. couple of people die. So they, Bokeem's also flexing all the money, and basically, they get caught at the end. Like,
yeah, everybody one by one gets knocked off.
yeah, Chris Tucker, he dies from overdose.
Yeah, and I also liked the music that they had in there that fit the scene. I'm so tired of being alone. He probably, even though he was like a really friendly person and stuff, he probably was just tired of life. He probably just felt just alone.
I kind of feel in that part. I think he did that intentionally. I think he like killed himself intentionally.
Yeah, he definitely did.
Because he knew they were all coming after him.
Yeah.
And he was just like, fuck.
And he just had a lot of psychological problems, man. He just was ready just to get up out of here.
Yeah, because he was like, I'm not trying to spend my life in jail.
Yeah.
Which then they find that Lorenz Tate's character, he finds out about everything. And so they about to go on the run. And when they try to leave, the cops are right there.
And that's what I don't get about like movies is like these dudes be on the run, but they still be in their same city. just hanging out.
Well, it was pretty much like a ripple effect. They didn't realize because he didn't realize that everything was coming down till they were at the church.
Yeah.
And they saw Bokeem getting carried out by the cops.
Yeah, but still, like I do something like that, I'm out. Like as soon as we do it, as soon as we split up the money, I'm getting up out of there.
I can understand that, but it's a movie though. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, when he's trying to flee from the city, the cops are right there and bust him.
Yep.
And a man goes to court, and
the judge just tells him that his war wasn't a real war. He said what did he say? Fought?
I think he fought in like the World War II.
Yeah, he's like, I fought in a real war, World War II. That's not an excuse for your behavior and all this.
Yeah, and I was just like, dang.
Yeah.
And he's just like, what do you give him, like 15 years to
15
life?
years to life.
Like, man, like the Lorenz Tate character, he just loses it.
Yeah,
Throws the chair at him.
He didn't have nothing else to lose. Yeah, threw a chair at the judge. I mean, he didn't have nothing else to lose. Might as well.
Yeah, I was just like, wow. Like, that's crazy to think about.
But it just goes to show you that you should always choose school over the army.
Well, it's just kind of funny, like with a movie like most movies, there's always like somewhat of a happy ending, like a movie like Set It Off.
Yeah.
Even though like a lot of them got killed or whatever, like Jada Pinkett, she kind of still rode off into the sunset.
Yeah.
And this one, they just didn't have a happy ending at all. Like everybody died, and if they didn't die, they went to jail.
Yeah.
So it was just very, very kind of definitely threw me off at the ending.
Yeah, the ending was crazy. Like just to see him go off like that, man. But like I said, he didn't have nothing else to lose. I mean, 15 to life, that's a long time. He was probably like what, 20, 19 or something like that.
He's probably mid 20s.
Yeah, mid 20s.
Yeah, man. Probably just getting into the mid 20s.
Yeah,
because he had to be probably 18 when he graduated, and then he spent 4 years in Vietnam.
So yeah, he was probably like 22, 23, something like that.
But at this point in our show, we have reached the conspiracy moment. And the conspiracy we're going to be looking at today is, are some of these rappers government plants?
Yes. And I got and the main one is Tekashi 6ix9ine. I just don't understand how this guy is going around here telling everybody to suck his dick, telling everybody I'm about that life and all this other shit, and nothing happens to him. He doesn't get touched at all. I think the only time that I think something that happened to him, well, I mean, he did get kidnapped, but for the most part, nothing happens to this guy. Like, and now he's out and he's doing even more trolling. So, I mean, I always felt like he was like the feds, because I think he caught a charge, a child abuse charge. He was I think he had sex with a minor, and I'm pretty sure the feds just cut him a deal like, look, we know you rap, so go ahead and do this for us, and we'll protect you. And put that. I mean, I don't know. Just 6ix9ine is just, He's just a terrible human being.
Yeah, I mean, I think there definitely is a lot of merit to it because it just kind of seemed like these rappers that get in trouble and then like they never really go to jail.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of crazy like how they keep avoiding jail.
Yeah.
And it's just like you see so many people like, especially these rappers that say they already got all these charges before, their former life or whatever, and then they get in trouble now and they still get off.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, they have the money to get good lawyers, but there's only so much a lawyer can do.
Exactly.
But I mean, Jim Carrey he did get on record on, even though he had a little joke to go with it when he was on Jimmy Kimmel. I don't know if you ever saw that one. Well, he was on Jimmy Kimmel and he's talking about he was basically talking about everything, and he was like, Jimmy, don't act like you don't know. He's like, don't you know, like all the actors, all the entertainers, talk show hosts, we're all hired by the government, and we're just here to distract the masses and everything. And then like, of course, he's saying all that, and then like he's like, hold on, I'm getting a phone call real quick. Oh yeah, and then he kind of like does this little like death stare look. He's like, oh, sorry, Jimmy. I was just here promoting my iPhone. It was just crazy.
Yeah, he's definitely a government. To go back to Tekashi, he's definitely a government plant, and they're trying to use him to make snitching look cool, cooperating with the police look cool. That's just my take on it. And there's other rappers that have been rumored to do that too. Jeezy, because remember he was running with BMF real tight, and then they all got indicted, and nothing happened to him.
That's alleged.
Yeah, alleged. Yeah, all this is alleged.
Yeah, all this is alleged. This is our opinion.
Snoop Dogg.
Yeah, all these are alleged.
T.I.
Don't try, bitch, don't try.
Yeah,
but yeah, it does strike. It does cause you to raise an eyebrow when you see certain rappers, certain things happen to rappers, and then all of a sudden they get off.
Yeah.
But
only real one that took his time was Bobby Shmurda.
Well, Shine.
Yeah, Shine too. Yeah.
Even though he didn't do that.
But. Yeah, we know who did that. And all this is alleged, by the way.
Yeah, he allegedly did do that. But everybody knows the real deal.
Definitely.
But that concludes the conspiracy moment. But back to talking about dead presidents, I will say one thing about this. The music in this definitely fit this movie. Yeah. Like, they didn't try to, make their own little soundtrack or whatever. Like, they just kept it original, just used all the music that was going on during that time.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. And I enjoyed how the music matched the scene. Like, I don't even think we spoke on, really got in depth with the whole Terrence Howard, Lorenz Tate beef.
Oh yeah,
so when
basically, you can go into it.
Oh, okay, well, Terrence Howard's character was that. I mean, they had a meetup at a pool hall, and Terrence Howard's character was there. He didn't like Lorenz Tate's character. Said he was a little kid. He didn't need to be in there, and they did a bet, and Lorenz beat him in pool, and he owed the owner $2, and he owed Lorenz $2, but he only gave the owner $2. He was just like, well, where's my money at? Like, he was just like, and get your little ass out of here. And then he was just like, man, I'm gonna tell everybody you a cheater. And then he ends up smacking the shit out of him, and ends up stabbing him in the face.
Well, he doesn't stab him. He just holds that knife up to him really close.
Yeah, hold the knife up to him, and then fast forward to after
he gets back from
Vietnam. He was just talking. Terrence Howard's character was talking some shit. It's like, yeah, you went over to that war and you come back and come back to nothing. And then he was talking about how Cuddy, Clifton Powell's character was hitting his baby mom while he was gone, and then Lorenz Tate just went crazy and beat his ass with a pool stick. And in the background, you hear the big payback.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely all the music fit, like everything. I can't remember the song that Lorenz Tate and Keith David were listening to when they were driving in the car when Keith David's character was going to.
I can't remember right now off the top of my head.
Yeah, because that man was sitting in that car high as shit. He was smoking that joint. Yeah, he was like, "What you call the car, Betsy?" He's like, "I call this bitch whatever I wanted to." I'm just like, man. But yeah, definitely the music really, fit well with this movie. I mean, he had some very iconic people on this. Like, you had Isaac Hayes, like James Brown, like we said, Curtis Mayfield.
Yeah.
Which
the original person to talk about drug dealing in songs.
Yeah, the Pusha Man.
Yeah, Pusha Man. Yeah.
You had Al Green.
Yeah.
And the OJs.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't get more vintage than those people.
Yeah, man.
Fucking legends.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, that was crazy. Just all the people that were on there, and the soundtrack actually went gold.
Yeah, back when soundtracks actually meant something.
When people actually came out with soundtracks.
Yeah.
Shoot, I remember back then I think pretty much every movie had a soundtrack.
Yeah, that's another episode we should do. Favorite soundtracks.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I think soundtracks are slowly making a comeback.
Yeah, cause didn't Black Panther have one that did well?
Yeah, that did really well. Another movie had a soundtrack. Suicide Squad.
Oh, okay.
That one was actually not too bad.
Okay.
But of course they're all superhero movies.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how many movies that
I don't know any
that like aren't superhero movies or anything really gonna have a soundtrack. I mean, it was just you don't really get that too often nowadays, definitely. But yeah, I mean, this was just a really good movie, very underrated movie.
Yeah.
Like, I don't like you never really hear like any of the people really like when they do interviews. You never hear like Chris Tucker or Lorenz Tate ever really bring this movie up.
Yeah, and it's kind of shocking because I really enjoyed this. It was a really good watch. Really tells you a lot about just the army and what can happen, just the after effects of what can happen when you go over the war and stuff. Really goes into depth about that. We didn't even talk about that scene when dude told him to kill him. Like that was crazy.
Oh yeah, we forgot about that one. Yeah, when Lorenz Tate's character was still in Vietnam, basically, they needed to always be with each other. And the one guy, he was like, he wanted to go use the bathroom and he went by himself, and which definitely wasn't a good idea. Yeah. And he paid for it.
Yeah, he was laid out with his guts out.
Yeah.
They were trying to heal him, and he looked at like everybody else was going to what were they were doing something else, like checking the perimeter, and he was just laid out and he was just like, kill me, man. Like, I do it for you. I can't go back home looking like this. Like, his guts were literally out.
Yeah, he was done.
Yeah, he was done.
Like, they were back then, like, yeah, there would have been no helping him.
Yeah.
But, yeah, that was a pretty crazy scene to, because I couldn't imagine, like, that's just one of the crazy things they probably were seeing in Vietnam. And it was just funny, like, I remember talking to somebody because, Forrest Gump was a movie that had like a Vietnam scene in it.
Yeah.
You know how like I guess they have them like always like have all those Vietnam scenes like where they're like walking through like open fields and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Well, I was talking to somebody and they're like, yeah, like Vietnam was not like that. Like pretty much like it was like really enclosed areas. Like pretty much like when you're chopping through the jungle like that, you didn't know somebody was on you until they were like right in your face.
Man.
So it wasn't like you could just see them coming at you. Like it's pretty much like you chop a bush out of the way, and then somebody's just right there. And it's scary, like, man, hey, you got to make a decision, like
real quick.
Yeah, and I'm sure that person's thinking the same thing if they're not sitting there waiting for you already.
Yeah,
But it was just some craziness. But definitely a must watch.
Basically, the moral of the movie is don't go to the army. Just go to college.
Well, I wouldn't say that. I don't know what the moral would really be for this movie. Like,
yeah, because it was such a terrible ending. It was like,
you know, it's one thing if you have a good ending, which is not saying the ending was bad, but like I really don't know what the moral would be for this. Like, I mean, yeah, I'm lost for words right there.
Yeah.
Thinking what the moral of it would be. Maybe don't do a bank robbery. Maybe. I'm in.
Shit, he should have hollered at Cuddy and got in his business. Hell, whatever that was.
He's supposed to be like. I guess Cuddy was like, what, Tommy from Martin? Man, I gotta go to work. Tommy, where do you work?
Come on, man, you know what I do.
Yeah, so I guess that was allusion to him being a drug dealer. Because he did stay fresh on that show.
Yeah, he definitely did hit all the time.
Yeah, but yeah, I guess that's what he basically could do. Just, you know, maybe jump on the train with him, jump on the wagon with him.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't know. But it's still a good movie to watch.
Yeah.
I definitely. It was nice seeing like not having really a storybook ending because you know it is kind of
cliche.
Yeah, because I mean it's like, well, you don't want to see the movie because you already know what's gonna happen.
Yeah,
you know it's gonna be a happy ending, but with this you definitely didn't get a happy ending.
Yeah, it was more just it was definitely more realistic. You know what I'm saying? Like with just him just struggling and trying to find his way. You know,
and I think that's why I got because this movie got a lot of mixed reviews. Like, some said it was good, some said it was bad, and I don't know. I think that partially probably had to do something with it, but who knows? But definitely a great watch.
Yeah, I recommend this to everybody.
You have any more closing remarks?
Nah.
Well, I guess that wraps up the show then. This is the 7 Period Podcast, and we're out of here.